Hello and welcome. My name is Jeffrey Kennedy and welcome back to another episode of Elliott Wave Junctures. The last few days we've been learning a lot about triangles. We learned that number one, a triangle is actually one of three corrective Elliott wave patterns. We have zigzags, flats, and triangles. Now of the triangle family there's actually three different types of triangles. We have contracting triangles, we have barrier triangles, and we also have expanding triangles. Now a variation of the contracting triangle that we examined was also referred to as a running triangle. We've learned that triangles may only form by themselves in the wave 4, wave B, or wave X wave positions, and that triangles always follow or precede the final move within a sequence. Sometimes the move or the thrust following a triangle is very small, sometimes it's very, very big. So these are a few things that we've actually learned about this specific pattern this week in Elliott Wave Junctures. Now what we're actually going to do today is actually apply what we've learned about triangles to some relevant or timely markets. Okay, now this one right here, this is the Dow Jones Transportation Index. Okay, now what I see here whenever I look at this pattern is, of course, I see that trademark characteristic of a triangle, which is converging trend lines. Now in this instance here, because we actually made a new price high above this extreme, this would technically be referred to as a running triangle. So what we can actually do is slide the price chart over to the left, and what you'll see here is the actual interpretation of the labeling. Here's the actual origin of the move, waves A, B, C, D, and E. And now what we can actually do, because wave E is potentially done at last week's low right here, is we can begin to actually formulate our thrust measurement technique. And again, if you recall, that was simply taking the widest portion of the triangle and measuring it, in this instance, upward from the extreme of wave E. Now, my only word of caution with respect to this pattern in this market at this time is that prices have yet to get above the extreme of wave D, certainly on a daily closing basis. Now, that being the case, that means we can actually see maybe another move to the downside or a more time-consuming wave E, because one thing about wave E itself can actually form into a triangle. So until we actually get above the extreme of wave D here on a daily closing basis, what you need to do is simply view this point right here, the extreme of wave C, as our critical support level for this interpretation. When I say critical support, that's the level that keeps everything together in this instance. Or if we take out critical support, i.e. the extreme of wave C, simply put, it means I'm wrong. But what I'm going to be looking for over the next few days in this market is for prices to get above the extreme of wave D on a daily closing basis. That would provide very, very strong evidence that our pattern is indeed complete and that we're going to see a thrust to the upside utilizing our thrust measuring technique to an upside target of about, say, the 562 handle. So that's the Dow Jones Transport. Now let's look at another pattern here. Okay, again, what's one of the key characteristics, or what is the, I guess, the most overwhelming characteristic of a triangle pattern? Well, again, it's the converging trend lines here. That's what really has caught my eye about this price chart of Merck, and this is a 200-minute price chart. Now what's exciting about this price chart, which is different than the transports, is that in this instance here, I believe wave E is already done, and that's been an evidence of that comes by way of prices moving above the extremes of waves B and D, as you can see in this instance here. Now this is the standard or straight contracting triangle, because notice in this price chart, wave B does not end beyond the origin of wave A. So here's my three-wave move for wave A, B, C, D, and now E. This being the case, what I'd like to see on a short-term basis is maybe a small corrective pullback, maybe say on a 15 or 20-minute price chart, maybe fall in three waves, do a flat correction, or do a zigzag. Actually, what I would not mind seeing at all is actually come back and test the trend line that we broke, the BD trend line. And then at that point, push a little bit higher to our thrust objective of 4160. So there, what we're actually doing today is applying what we've learned Monday and Tuesday about triangles in two markets, which again, I believe are timely and certainly relevant at this juncture. That about does it for today. Thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow.